lack of electricity is one of the greatest problems in Nigeria today. It's a shame that we lived for decades and we failed to solve this problem. So I speak with you today. The technology does exist. That every local government in Nigeria and every small village in Nigeria can have 24-hour electricity 7 days a week. Within the first 1 year. We don't need to invent anything new. I've lived in America for 9 years, and not once have I observed any power failure. There's nothing special about the people who live in America. People like you and I are the ones who run the power generating facilities in America. Nothing new has been invented. Regarding electricity. So if we have the will and we care about our country, we have enough resources to make this happen in Nigeria. There is no excuse why we shouldn't have electricity in Nigeria. Our schools can also work again. I remember my days in primary school in Nigeria, my days in the secondary school. Almost all of my friends that I know today all went to government schools in Nigeria. Federal government colleges. And then we had children of poor people and children of the rich all studying in the same class. All of the great minds that have left Nigeria, the doctors, the engineers, all went to schools in Nigeria where we had great teachers. When we had leaders who cared about the country and they still taught certain values in Nigeria, we can get back to all of that again. Now we have thousands, millions of teeming youths in Nigeria who are going to schools that don't work, who are going to schools where teachers don't teach, who go to school hungry. That is going to be the future of our country if we don't do something about it now. And I believe that if we care enough about our country, it's time to stop complaining and just do something. We can all collectively take action today to do something to move our country forward. I've decided to go back home to Nigeria and get involved in the political process. Get involved in reawakening our country. Get involved in re-educating our people about the need for us to create institutions that work. To create schools where children are taught. Hospitals where we take care of sick people. Where we can build roads that are safe. We can go back and rebuild our institutions again. We can make the American dream a Nigerian dream. We can make the American dream an African dream. We've got millions of young, smart people in Nigeria who have dreams that are being dashed every day because they have no access to electricity, no access to the internet. But we can make this happen. Our country is rich. Currently, we have technology that can make electricity available in every local government in Nigeria within the next 12 months. We have no excuse. Our government has no excuse. They've told us stories and reasons why this can happen. But I know it can happen. I've lived in a country where we've had electricity. I've spoken to people who work in this industry. And as I speak to you today, technology does exist, which is affordable, that we can make electricity available in every local government in Nigeria within 12 months. I was home about 8 weeks ago and spent a lot of time, speaking with people. I spoke with my dad. I spoke with a lot of people that come visit the palace, the Chidamas Palace in Otukpo. Young people, old, my uncles, people from out of state, politicians, imams, pastors, and everyone is talking about the same thing, about the suffering in the country, about greed, about poverty, and the fact that nothing works. And I realized that we can make a difference if we care enough about our country. That all of us who are children of God, who are God-fearing, should try to do the work of God. Try to show more compassion. Try to speak up and speak the truth. And care about poor people and care about justice. And that even if a few amongst us choose to speak up, that can drive the change that we need. And I've come back to the US to come talk to my friends all across America. Nigerians that I work with, who are doctors, those who were in school with me in college, that we should think about what we can do to make our country a better place, to make our country work just like America. We've got great resources back in Nigeria. We've got the best minds in the world from Nigeria. And we have no excuse why we shouldn't have 24-hour electricity in Nigeria, why our hospitals shouldn't work, why we can't take care of poor people. While I worked in New York Methodist Hospital, it doesn't matter whether you had money or you were poor, you get the same care. And if you're homeless or poor and you're admitted under my care, we treat you. When you're going to be sent home, we make sure that you have medicines that you take when you get home. If you don't have food, we make sure we get in touch with social services so that when you get home, you have meal vouchers or you have a way of paying your rent, taking care of your children, and feeding yourself. That is what a country that values its citizens does. We can make that happen back home so that our children can go to school where the teachers will teach them. Our children can go to school where they can have breakfast or lunch in school. Because how can you learn if you're hungry? We can make Nigeria great as America. We can make Nigeria work the way things work here. And it's a challenge to all young Nigerians, all those who love our country, for us to go back home and do in Nigeria what we've been doing in America, what we've been doing in London. Show that we can be as hardworking and as dedicated as we have been in building America, that we can do the same back home. This is New York Methodist Hospital. I work here as an attending physician. I trained here as a resident from 2006 to 2003. I worked with lots of Nigerian doctors here. We can have a hospital like this back home in Nigeria. It's possible, and we can make it happen.